I've done hundreds of webinars. This guy is the webinar guy. That's largely what he's going to be talking about. He's sold over $250 million worth of stuff on the internet, and he just did a webinar that did 8 figures in 2 days on a $1,500 price point to 24-year-olds apparently, which is pretty fucking impressive. So let's bring him up onto stage. Let's be super interactive, really fun people. Let's all practice a laugh. How about that, huh? Wow, what a crowd, huh? You guys are just killing it right now. Thank you, Igor, for being the #1 participant. Come on, guys, let's get it going. Welcome to the stage, the one, the only, Jason, I might mispronounce his last name, Fladlien.
Speaking to closers, and I get to close the day. Isn't that interesting? They brought the closer in to close the closers. You guys want to be closed? What the fuck, right? You're like, ah. You got to have this attitude so you can then transfer it to your team so they can close. So the best buyers are the best sellers. I don't know if you know that. So quick question here. Those of you who know me, raise your hands, or who already know me. If you spent money with me, keep them up. Smartest people in the room, right there. Smartest people in the room. The rest of you, we will fix this problem, hopefully, if I do a good enough job. But I'm up for the task. I use these secrets to sell other people's products pretty effectively. This is the record in the affiliate space, $9.8 million in 8 days. I did this in 2015. It is a record that still stands today, a decade later. So these are closing strategies that you can use to sell other people's products. This was not my product. It was another product called Amazing Selling Machine. We just did really good. You know what I like more than 9.8 million? 7 point whatever million. Because that's second place. I don't want to make 9 million. I want you to lose by 7 million. This is the attitude I take to closing. Is this ruthless? Or is this okay? Is it okay? Okay, good. Whew. Because a lot of people don't like that attitude. You know what I like more than winning? Seeing other people lose. This is the attitude of a closer. Hopefully some of that will rub off onto you. Now, also works for our own products. So we had a client come to us, say, I got this idea. 226 days later, it produced $57.9 million in sales. All with the techniques that I'll teach you here today. So it works fabulously well with your own products. This is the kind of stuff that people like, you might have heard of this guy, Alex Hormozy. He pays me large sums of money for short amounts of hours. This was what he paid me to help him with his book launch. Do you guys remember that book launch? Yeah. That was a webinar. A lot of people didn't realize that. And so we spent 6 hours strategizing what that webinar would look like for probably like the biggest book launch in recent history. So it works applying it to other people's business as an advisor or as a consultant. And we did this last year with Tony and Dean. They paid me a large amount of money. I did 2 full days of consulting, and then they hired me to write the outline of the pitch, because I'm too expensive to write the entire pitch these days. So now I just charge by the outline if it makes sense. So this works in a variety of circumstances, what I'm about to teach you. And then recently I just did this with Iman Gaddazi. Hardest I've ever worked in my life. I don't know why I'm still working so hard if I'm making so much damn money. Must be the love and the passion. I don't know what it is. But we flew out to Dubai. It's a nice little 16-hour journey from LAX. And then for 5 days, here's how the setup works. Imam would do his presentation, and then I would come in and close for 2 hours the first day. And then the second day, 4 hours. And then the third day, 3 hours. And then the fourth day, 4 hours. And then the last day, I got to do the entire presentation. We reached 500,000 people. We sold 8 figures in 2 days on this new offer, and that was the warm-up. Because the best part about closing, I don't know if you know this, the best part about closing, would you like to know what the best part of closing is? Yeah. Hey, pretty good. The best part about closing is you learn the heartbeat of the market. So we are sitting there. I remember before we went live on the first night, we had 59,000 people that showed up to day one of this webinar. And we're just getting started. We're going through a warm-up, and I turned to Iman, and I turned to the team, and I said, guys, we don't even know the angles yet. And then I look at them, and they look at me, and I say, wait till we discover the heartbeat of this market. And then I laughed, this devilish, evil laugh. And they looked at me, and they laughed because they understood the implication. I don't know anything until I try to sell something to someone. And if they say yes, I know it worked. And if they say no, I know I need to improve. So this was before we discovered the heartbeat of the market. So it works incredibly well. This is the kind of stuff I've taught to Zoom. So it works pretty good for corporate clients. And the point I'm trying to make is I'm kind of a big deal. I'm such a big deal that the monitors can't even power it. You do not need to take a picture of every slide. It wouldn't make sense if you did anyway. I'm going to give you all my slides. Even more important than that, I'm going to give you some prompts, some AI prompts that I've developed. If you go to ChatGPT and say, write a webinar like Jason Fladlin, it is retarded. It will not know what to do. They'll be like, well, Jason Fladlin recommends this, this, and this. I'm like, oh my God, no, I do not recommend that. So you want my prompts. AI won't give this to you. I'll give this to you. I'm going to give you a whole Google document. Now, here's the deal about this Google Doc. You can scan to request access for it. This is the first time I've ever given this Google Doc out. It contains some serious proprietary information. I do not know if I will regret this later, because I am the most ripped off person in the space. So keep it to yourself. We will approve access manually after this is done. My team will go through and they will verify that you are supposed to be in this room and you're supposed to give access. Do not share this. This has some secret money-making shit inside of it, okay? Do we have a deal? Yeah. Okay, cool. So now put the phones away, put the notes away, just give me your full attention, and I will do my A-level best to completely up-level your business, okay? This is the map of treasure. This is the modern treasure map. Whenever I pitch anything, this is the structure in which I pitch it. Hook, pain, gain, position. This is how we intro. Paradigm, mechanisms, demonstrations. This is how we create transformation, because we don't give information. We provide transformation. Recap, tie down, choices. This is how we transition from put your phones away, put them away. Okay? Get this right here. All right? Stay in the now. All right? Recap, tie down, choices. We have to transition from teaching to selling. We have to transition from helping somebody for free to helping them understand why they should pay us money. And then the offer, core, price, bonus, risk, scarcity. I follow this for any long-form selling. Anything above an impulse purchase goes through this process in some way, shape, or form. Now, this is basic level stuff. This is where I would teach everybody. Now, the fundamentals are important regardless of who you are. And I'm always recapping over the fundamentals myself. I'm always trying to improve the fundamentals. So fundamentals are important, but this is next level, upper level kind of stuff that I want to teach all you guys and gals here today. This is the extra credit stuff. This is the difference between 7, 8, and even 9 figures. And what I discovered is, in the DNA of all of these presentations, the commonality is very clear. At the end of the day, as long as you can get them to the offer, you're probably pretty good. And the majority of why somebody will buy from you or not always comes down to dealing with the objections. So for me, I don't really care too much about the other stuff. If I can keep somebody's attention for 60, 70, 80 minutes, if I can get them to the point where I can show them what I'm selling and why they might want to buy it, that doesn't really matter to me. As long as I can get them there, then it's all about the offer and it's all about the objections. You track so far? Okay? Easiest way I can make you more money, make your offer better and then just get more people to it. Second best way I can make you money, have the things that stop them from saying yes that shouldn't stop them, remove those, and then more people will say yes. So I do objections throughout everything that I do. So one of my hooks that I like to start a webinar with that I teach clients is a pop quiz. So I'll say, I'm going to start off this presentation today with a pop quiz, and the answers won't get you an A on a test. They will give you what you need when it comes to X, Y, Z, 1, 2, and 3. So here's the first question. True or false? Type in T into the chat if you think it's true, or F if you think it's false. Insert first question here. Now, first question, second, third, fourth, and fifth question, they're all specific objections. even though the audience doesn't know it yet. So when I teach digital product creation, one of my ways that I open up this webinar, true or false, with all the free info out there, there's less demand than ever to buy info products. Is that true or is that false? Type in T if you think it's true in the chat, or F. And then I go to the next slide, and the answer is false. Actually, free information is creating more demand for the right information. And people would rather pay for the right information than search and get the wrong information for free. That's an objection. That's good. You like that, yeah? That's an objection. So I am going to handle the 5 biggest objections that my audience face in the first 2 minutes of my webinar, and they ain't even know it yet. They don't even realize that's what we're doing. That's good. Yep. True or false? So I say, true or false, you have to be an expert in order to publish and successfully sell an information product. And the answer to that is false. Being an expert helps, but there are a lot of opportunities out there right now where a non-expert is an advantage. And by the end of the webinar, I will show you specifically exactly what those products look like. That's also called an open loop. So great webinars do multiple things at the same time. We can't just do one thing at a time anymore. It's not 2007. We have to do multiple things at the same time. And so I hammer objections. Everywhere you go in my webinar, I am subtly, secretly, or directly destroying every reason you can say no. And if you run out of reasons to say no, then yes is the inevitable conclusion. Everybody's trying for a yes. I'm trying to exhaust the no's. So these show up in the hook. And here's the template, right? Don't screenshot this. It's in the document. If you missed the document earlier, I will have a link again at the end. This is my AI prompt. It's a couple words. I think it's about 2,000 words. You put this prompt into ChatGPT, it will spit out for you a pop quiz that you can start your webinar with. It's almost as good as if I wrote it myself. Almost. But hey, you can do it in a few minutes. So this will, if you want to start with a pop quiz, just use this prompt. It's in the document. I will give it to you. Now, I then go directly into the pain. So one of the main features of my webinars that other people don't do, or if they do, they learned it from me, is I will go directly into the pain. This is one of about 6 slides. So that $9.8 million you saw in 8 days, this was webinar 1 that converted it. We did 3 webinars in that series. This was the first one. And this is how I started it off. I say, first, here are the challenges I believe you think get in your way. That one sentence right there is pretty powerful. Here are the challenges you think stop you. I didn't say they did stop you. I said these are the challenges you believe prevent you. A subtle crack in the foundation of the resistance on about slide 7. I say, here are the things that you think get in the way. You think you're broke. You think you got no time. You think that you have nothing valuable to offer to the world, and you're scared out of your mind to try anything new. That's how I would say it today. I used to say it kind of like this. You're undercapitalized, meaning you're broke, right? Your time is severely over-leveraged, meaning you have none of it. You don't possess certain skills or abilities, meaning that you suck, and you're scared to get out of comfort zone. So I used to kind of tiptoe around the edge of it. I would bring it up more aggressively than anybody, but still kind of pussyfoot around it. But nowadays I say, here are the things you think get in the way. You don't think you have any money. You don't think you have any time. You don't think you have any marketable value. And you're scared to death to risk failure. So you stay the same. That's how I say it now. I go straight at it. So we bring this up. So I ain't happy until I've given you all of your excuses for you in the first few minutes of the webinar. And I like to exaggerate them. Because then you'll say, well, no, it's not that bad. Now you're arguing with me that your excuses aren't that powerful. I like it. Mwah, chef's kiss, right? And this is the prompt that can do that for you, right? Here are the challenges you think you face. There's about 19 fill-in-the-blanks right there. Here's a little secret for you. If you say the same thing over and over and over again, what happens? They habituate it. Banner blindness, right? So if I say the same benefit or the same pain in the same way over and over again, you become amnesic to it. But if I say it slightly differently, 4 or 5 different ways, and I give you different dimension and different perspective, then this is called dimensionalizing the problem. Now it becomes so powerful. Now it becomes too heavy to carry. What happens when you make their problem too heavy to carry? They quit carrying it. They unload it. They say, fuck this, I don't want this problem anymore. What should I do about it? I'm glad you asked. Insert call to action here. So this will do that for you. That's a prompt. I do this when I position more than anything. In the first few minutes when you're selling, you've got to take a position. The position is as follows. You either get the answer through me and how I'm going to show you, or you die without solving the problem. That's the position we like to take. So this was the webinar. We just did this webinar the other day. This is that 9% webinar. This is in the introduction. Here's how I position it. I say, blah, 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 blah. Then I'm going to give you two options. Option number one, take this plan and run with it on your own completely free. Or option two, do it alongside us with our guidance, our systems, and direct support, all for a modest investment. Either way, you win. I just want to make sure you get it. So I'm positioning against the objection very early on. The objection is, I don't want to pay you money. The way I handle that objection is, I'll give you a choice. I'll let you do it on your own, or you can give me some money and you can get even more stuff. Up to you, though. Either way, you will win. So I'm already positioning my offer a few minutes into the webinar. This track us so far? Okay? There's the prompt for it, right? So you will get this in your document. This will set you up in the position to do it exactly like this. So this is how we handle objections in the intro. But we also do this in the content. So I have this concept that I call a paradigm. And the whole idea of this is to create a paradigm shift. The whole thing is, what is the one thing that stops them from buying? And the whole totality of the content section of the webinar is going to remove that constraint. So I love the fact that the goal was brought up earlier and the theory of constraints was brought up earlier, because that's how I build all of my webinars. What is the number one thing stopping them from saying yes? How do we get rid of it? So as an example, in the digital product offer that I make called Product E-Class, the paradigm is don't sell complicated, expensive products. Sell cheap products that take one sitting to create. That's the paradigm shift. No wonder you fail. You're trying to create complicated products. But what if you could create a product in one single setting, selling it at a really cheap price in order to start making money? And that handles all of these objections that they would have up front. Well, I can't do it. It takes too long. This doesn't take too long. Well, I don't know how to sell it. It's $4, right? Like, anybody can sell a $4 product, okay? I don't know where to go, okay? It's all solved. That's the paradigm. This is one way. There's many ways to shift a paradigm. One of my favorite ways is taking what's happening recently that they think is an obstacle and showing that it's a way. So for the Amazon thing, the big issue was tariffs are coming, AI is coming, supply chain issues, global geopolitical strife, and I leaned into that. My whole paradigm is the quickest way to make $1 million is when a whole bunch of new money is changing different people's hands. So all these people now that are showing up on page one of Amazon that weren't before, they need support. They don't care how good you are, they just care that you're there to help. Do you want to help? Yes, I do. That's the paradigm. The paradigm removes all the excuses that would stop them from buying into the concept. They will not buy your product if they first can't buy into your concept. I picture it like this when I sell to any audience. I say, I put something in your mind and you go, yeah, but, and you kick it out. If I put something in your mind and you go, yeah, but, and you kick it out, I can never have impact. So how do I put things in your mind where you can't go, yeah, but, and kick them out? And this is the whole thing that I'm doing in just the first few minutes of the webinar. And if you need help with a paradigm, ooh, cool. I got a prompt in that document that will do that just very thing for you. But see how we're always solving for the objection. We're always solving for the objection. And then we do this in the transition. So in Alex's launch, this was literally word for word. Every word was a word that I had scripted ahead of time for his transition. Now the whole thing, recap, tie down, choices, this is all set up to handle an objection. But the two choices close essentially goes like this. It says, now you're faced with two choices. The first one is you can go off on your own just by yourself and try to solve for this. And if that was your only option, it would be a worthy ideal to pursue. But what if there was another option? What if there was a way we could do this together? What if there was a way if I could be actively responsible for your outcome? If I could give every advantage and every shortcut and every resource I have in your favor? Not just to hope you win, but to help you win. If I had such an option, would you be interested in hearing more about it? And now, the objection isn't, oh shit, he's selling me something. The objection is, what is it? Please tell me. Don't keep me in the dark. Don't hold back this advantage you have for me just because you're afraid to ask me for my money. This is the reframe, right? And of course, I got a whole GPT. I'm getting woozy on my feet just thinking about it. That does just this. So this is yours too. This is yours too. So we do objections throughout the whole presentation. It's all about the objection. And it's all about the offer. And the offer and the objection go hand to hand. I developed a formula 12 years ago at this point in time. Oh my God. And this formula changed the whole game with how people sold via webinars. And now it's accepted like gravity. And people don't realize that this is where it came from. And I'll give you the whole backstory. Some people still don't sell like this today. Some people will fight and argue against me with this today. It doesn't always work because nothing works 100% of the time. But this is the go-to. And I'm going to break down some of the science for you. And I often don't get a chance to get this in-depth with an audience before. So hopefully I will not regret it, okay? So please use this. When it comes to an offer, these are the 5 parts. Now, by the way, most of you do, your offer is to book a call and then you close on the call. This works equally well, whether it's to a phone or to a checkout page. There's the core part of the offer. This will help me best do what you just showed me on the webinar. The biggest mistake people make is they spend too much time on the core part. You just spent 45 minutes on the webinar selling them on the concept. So the core part of your offer is just the explanation mark on the end of it. It does not need that much explanation. A couple minutes and you're good. So you say, here's what I got that will help you with everything that we discussed today. You go through it in a couple minutes, and then you reveal the price. You position the price, so, whoa, this is a good deal. And then you stack bonuses. So people go from, wow, what a great deal, to, oh my God, I must buy. Then you remove risk completely. And then they say, whoa, it's more expensive not to buy. And then you induce scarcity. So you say, not only should I buy, I should buy right now. And this is the sequence. Core, price, bonus, risk, scarcity. If you timelined it, it would look like this. 3 to 5 minutes to introduce the core part of your offer. 3 to 5 minutes to discuss price. Now, you can skip price if you book straight to a call, but even then, I still like to anchor. Then you go into the bonuses, and then you go into the risk. Now, here's what's really interesting about it. The shortest part is the core offer and the price. The bonuses are 3 to 4 times longer than the core offer. What they get for free, we spend 3 to 4 times longer on than what they're paying for. This is really important, okay? What they get for free has greater emphasis than what they're paying for. Now, why do you suppose that is? Psychologically, it takes them away from price. It puts it on the value. Correct. What else? They feel like they're taking advantage of you. You want every customer to almost feel bad from stealing from you. That's like the sweet spot of selling, where they're like, God, I hope this guy comes to his senses. He has no idea how good this thing is. I ain't going to tell him. I want the best deal. That's what you want people to feel, okay? And that's the other one. And then there's a third reason. Free. People love free shit. Bingo! I saved it for last to make the point. People love free stuff. Now, logically, step back. What they pay is for everything. But they don't think of it like that. Well, I got this football clock for free when I subscribed to Sports Illustrated. Best promotion in history. Did you know once upon a time Wells Fargo, because before they were a bank, the way they used to steal money before they stole money legally was they had these shotguns on these stagecoaches that would protect the money. And then one day, they get this idea to run a promotion. Hey, when you open up a free bank account with us, we're going to give you a shotgun. It's like, well, do you want them to rob the bank? Or do you create an account? But nobody cared. Free shotgun? You have me at free shotgun. I'll open an account with you. Okay? What did they used to do back in the day when they would give you away? When the insurance agent would come, what would he come with when he tried to sell you insurance? A calendar or an atlas. Remember, these are pre-GPS days. Or even a set of steak knives for my boy. Who's got the steak knives? You got the steak knives, right? Yeah. Oh, right there, yeah. You used to be able to get some shitty steak knives for free when you got some shitty insurance. And you wouldn't take the shitty insurance until you got the shitty steak knives for free. It's the premium, the free thing, the bonus. And then what do we spend the most amount of time on? The risk, because that's the most important part. People don't want to necessarily gain as much as they want to stop losing. So that's the language we speak to them, the language of loss. Here's how I always think about it, right? I don't play the lottery. I get it. I understand the emotional effect of the daydream in your mind when you go to buy that ticket. But I just can't fundamentally do it because the odds are so terrible that it offends me on my deepest level. Terrible odds. So whether it's a $1 billion jackpot, 2 billion, 5 billion, 10 billion, it will not change. I still won't play the lottery. But check this out. If you said to me, hey, Jason, this lottery ticket for $1, if you win, you will only win $1.01. Would you like to play? I'd say, tell me the odds. And you say, the odds are 50.1% in your favor. I say, not only would I like to play, I will build a lottery ticket bots, and I will play the shit out of that lottery. We capped the upside. We removed billions of dollars to the upside, but we made the downside just enough to where it's no longer a risk. And this is how I think of offers. This is why we often will sell things where I'll say, oh, here's how you make a couple dollars tomorrow, not how to make $1 million by the end of the year. People say, a couple dollars tomorrow? That makes sense. I can do that. But they can never see themselves being a millionaire. So we have to remove the risk. And every product that anybody sells beyond an impulse purchase, you want to know what the number one risk is? It's always the same. Ooh, this should be really good for you then. The risk is in feeling really stupid if you don't get the result. It's always the number one objection. Always the objection is feeling like an idiot that you made a bad decision. That's always the number one objection. So we have to remove that. It takes a while. Somebody says, hey, Jason, how long does it take to make a baby? I say 9 months, I've heard, right? I have 3 kids allegedly. I mean, haven't done the DNA test on them, so I'm not quite sure, right? I'm kidding, of course, right? They act too much like me. The world is fucked, by the way. But you say, Jason, it takes 9 months to make a baby. I got it. If I get 9 women pregnant, we'll get it done in a month then, right? The math just don't math on that. So you want to close clients quicker, but sometimes it's a process of self-discovery. And if it takes an hour or 2 or 3, so be it. And so this is the attitude we have. Now let's get some specifics here. Here's how I do the core offer. In most cases, this is the setup. Story, assumption, overview, breakdown, access. I want it to go quickly. Story goes like this. Hey, I was once where you currently are. I was broke, miserable, gigantic loser just like you. Subtextually, of course. We don't say the quiet part out loud, right? And then we make an assumption. You will do what I did to solve the problem that I've solved. And part of that is making an investment, because all of you, for whatever you now can do, you invested in yourself to get there, correct? 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 Yes, okay, good. So why wouldn't you expect the same from your customers? So we let them know that. You will do what I did, okay? And then sell your product in 1 sentence. This is a great exercise whether you use it or not. If you had 1 sentence and 1 sentence only to sell your product, what would be in that sentence? So you sell the product in 1 sentence. Then you reveal all of its major elements. Typically, these are the 3 to 5 to 7 things that make your offer awesome. The rest is merely details. Nobody cares about the spark plugs in the new car that they're buying. Nobody's ever went up to the Rolls-Royce salesman and said, hey, listen, before I buy this, I just need to know one thing. What kind of spark plugs are in this bitch? Nobody's ever done that, okay? Why do they buy Rolls-Royces, by the way? Yeah, to show the superiority over other people who can't buy Rolls-Royces, right? They buy it because there's a certain prestige to it. But beyond that, why else do they buy it? The color. The color's important. The engine isn't. The color's important. The size of the tires are not. The color is important. Nothing really else is, the technical shit isn't important. So we reveal the major elements, the 3 to 5 to 7 things that make the most difference. Here's the formula, by the way. Headline, 3 benefits, proof, and future pace. So we give it a sexy headline, what it is. Then we give it some benefits, why it's awesome. And then we give proof to why it works. So you know my protege here saying that I'm really good at webinars helps me validate the fact that I'm good at webinars. I know I'm good, but you have to believe that. And then future pacing. This is my favorite thing. What life will be like once they have completed the thing that they're going to buy. Bring the future result into the present. Make them taste it as if it's already occurred. I do not need a chalkboard and a rusty nail right now to run across it for you not to feel pain thinking about it, right? I do not need you to actually suck on a big, juicy lemon for some of your mouths to start watering, right? Once you create it in their mind, it's as if it's already happened in the present. So we future pace that. And that's how we sell each and every element. And we can do this in about 3 to 5 minutes. And then how it's delivered. What and where. Here's the thing about digital products especially, because most of us sell digital products. People have trouble with the abstract. They struggle with the abstract. So they don't even know how they get the thing that you're selling. So you should probably tell them how they get the thing that they're buying from you. So they can see themselves unwrapping the Christmas present, tearing it open, grabbing it, and holding it in their hands. So how it's delivered, the where and the what. And that's it, about 3 to 5 minutes. That's all it takes. If I'm selling a $2,000 or a $3,000 product, 3 to 5 minutes once I introduce it. Then I go into the price. Now there's a lot of crazy things that we do with price. I was talking about them out there at lunch. $15,000 offer. A gentleman had a $15,000 offer, and I told him I'd be seeding the $15,000 offer throughout the call. So I say early on in the webinar, I tell the time about how I bought the first high-end watch I ever bought. It was a $19,000 watch from Cartier, and how I was scared to go in there. I knew, I'd already made millions of dollars, but I didn't treat myself, and this was a psychological upgrade. And so I went there shaking for a $19,000 investment, and it was scary to me because it's the first big investment I ever made. But then after I made the investment, here's how I felt about it, et cetera, et cetera. A watch has nothing to do with what he's selling. Demonstrating that it's okay to spend $19,000 on something is a very smart way to set price up in advance. Did you get that? Does that make sense? Okay? So I'm constantly talking about that. I told the gentleman, I said, I want you to think of other things that they've already spent more money on in the past and bring those up. So that way when it comes time to reveal the price, it's not a foreign concept. So I always set price up way more advanced than this, but at least when we get to the close, it looks like this. Results, compare, normal, and special. So this is the live webinar we're doing right now, in motion, brand new webinar that we just wrote, crushing it. Here's what this looks like. I say, this is a legitimate wholesale business that makes $100,000 in pure profit each time they get 12 accounts. So at this point in time, the audience has been set up. An average account to the creators is worth $7,934. We've established that in the content section of the webinar. And then we've established that if you have 12 of those accounts, aka one per month, that is $100,000. We also asked the audience, how many accounts would you need to replace your income with? And the average answer was 12. So there's been a lot of setup. But this is the payoff right here, right? So I say, to Dan and Dylan, these are the course creators, this is $100,000 in pure profit every time they acquire 12 accounts. So now the price anchor is $100,000. This is where we start, right? And then I say, now we compare it to a more expensive item, ideally that you sell. They charge $30,000 to people to work with them one-on-one. By the way, all of this is true. I shouldn't have to caveat that, but I'm in a room full of marketers, so I must caveat that, right? You cannot make this shit up. It needs to be true. Whew, okay? So $100,000 is price anchor 1. Price anchor 2 is $30,000. That's what they charge, right? Other done-with-you programs, because this is an implementation program, so where the actual creators work with you until you succeed, typically start at $10,000, which they do, and then the reveal of the price. You can get started in Fast Track Formula today for as little as $849. This is the payment plan version, right? Followed by 3 more installments of the same, spaced 30 days apart. Or if you prefer, you can handle it all at once for just $29.97. So we started at $100,000, we ended at $849. $100,000, $30,000, $10,000, $849, okay? Now, there's a lot of extra credit shit here you can work on. It's not necessary. It's kind of showing off. Sometimes an A- is okay. I'm always the kid that wants that A+. So when I say you can get started today for as little as $849 and then 3 more installments of the same, spaced 30 days apart, like I've practiced that, you cannot say it more efficiently than that. $849 today, then 3 more installments of the same space 30 days apart. They're installments, they're not payment plans. I go berserk when I see the word payment anywhere on a website or on a webinar slide. Now, some of these damn shopping carts, they fucking drive me nuts because they'll say 3 payments, and I can't change that, and I hate that. It's never 3 payments, it's 3 installments. And it's never a one-time payment of $2,997. It's always, you can handle it all at once for just $29.97. Not $2,997, $29.97, $29.97, $29.97. Sounds like nothing, right? $29.97. Take care of it all at once, handle it all at once. Just $29.97 once. It's never a payment, it's never a cost, it's always an installment, or take care of it all at once. Okay? Results, compare, normal, special. Now, I think if we had a prompt that just automatically did this for us, that would be pretty cool. So I created that shit, right? And you are the first to ever get it. You are the first to ever get it. I've never shared this before, okay? By the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but it also is tied to scarcity. So there's special pricing for a limited time. So whenever we do webinars, there is always a limit to the special pricing. Otherwise, why do it? If they can get it anywhere, then it's not worth doing a webinar for. So that's the price. And then we go into bonuses, okay? My favorite part of the offer, besides the risk. This is the easiest part that I can up-level all of your businesses. Now, this is what's really fascinating. Alex comes to me for the big launch that he did for the book. He had more bonuses in there initially. I told him to take them out. So the bonus package that he ended up doing live was smaller than the bonuses that he originally had, because he got it, right? He got it. He learned this from me. This whole concept of offers originally came from me. And in that case, we removed bonuses because too many bonuses creates an objection. But most of the time, you don't have enough bonuses. It's a cold, hard fact. Most offers would be improved if we just added more cool shit to them for free. I mean, duh, right? That's not exactly revolutionary, is it? Well, yes, because then I look at your offers and you're missing the biggest leverage, which are the bonuses. So let's look at them, okay? Modalities, objections, scarcity, and proof. These are the 4 easiest ways you can up-level your bonus package. First, let's start with modalities. If I give you a training as a bonus, that's cool. If I give you 7 trainings, does that help? Does that hurt? It actually hurts. It actually hurts. If 1 scoop of ice cream is good, 2 might be better. 3, we're pushing it. 14, and you shit your pants, right? Yeah. So a modality is how we deliver the bonus. It's the vehicle in which the bonus is delivered in. And literally vehicles. Would you rather have 6 cars in the driveway, or a car and a speedboat and a bicycle and an SUV and a motorcycle and an airplane and a helicopter and whatever Elon Musk is making these days, right? These are the same thing. They get you from point A to B, but they're different modals. They're different vehicles. So I could take the same thing and give it to you in 6 different ways, and that will give you 6 times the value. But if I can give you 6 more of the same thing, it decreases the value. Supply and demand, right? The more supply, the less demand. So we don't want too many of the same thing, even if it's good. So when we did ASM5, these were some of the modalities. So I had Ben Cummings come in and do coaching, group coaching for my audience. That was one of the deliverables. That was free. We did a live event, just like what you're here experiencing today. That was a free bonus, and it was a different modality. We gave away software. You couldn't buy the software anywhere, but you could get it for free when you bought this other thing, and that's a modality. We had video training. We had done for you. I think every single offer you ever sell beyond a $1,000 price point should have some component of done for you in it. Here's why. Because I can train anybody to use AI to do something on behalf of my clients. It doesn't even have to be a big thing. If you automate the tiniest process that you do for your clients, I'm talking about a microscopic process. I'm talking about in a 15-sequence chain of events, you just do the first thing for them or the fourth thing for them, and it takes almost no effort. Guess what you can now claim in your offer? Done for you! Even if it's a small amount of done for you. But if you do no done for you right now, guess how much of it you can claim in your offer? None. So find a way to do the simplest done for you possible just so you could say, and we'll do this for you. People overvalue done for you regardless of what it was. They hear done for you and instantly in their mind there's a price anchor associated with it. That must be very valuable because done for you stuff is expensive. So we had done for you. You can give them an app. An app is different than a software, by the way. Kind of the same, but not quite the same, so they're different modalities and community. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 modalities given with this thing, and all of these are free. Okay? Now, my favorite thing to do with bonuses is to hammer objections with them. So to me, bonuses do two things. They do one of two things. They either make you say, holy shit, that was awesome. Or they say, okay, cool, I'm in because I can no longer hold on to that excuse. So one of the biggest objections in 2015 for starting a private label Amazon brand is, I won't get the product live. We say, cool, we'll source the product for you. Done for you personal China concierge program. And that smashed the biggest objection that they had. I won't buy this because I'll look like an idiot, because I'll have given you $5,000 for this course, and then when somebody says, hey, how's that Amazon business doing? And I haven't got a product live yet, I'll feel like a fool. This eliminates that objection. So you should think about your top 5 objections, and then you should ask yourself this question. Do I have 5 bonuses that shine a spotlight on each one of these objections so people can no longer hold on to it in good faith? So objections, we smash them. Scarcity. I love creating bonuses that I literally will not sell to you anywhere, at any price, in any other offer. Literally create things that can't be purchased on their own. I do this all the time. My best shit you cannot pay for. It is intentionally designed to only be gotten for free when you buy something else. Because what do people want most? What they can't have. And we give them a temporary way to get something that they normally can never get. Strongest form of scarcity. By the way, scarcity is the strongest lever of sales. Strongest demand ever that you could create is to make something scarce. There's no powerful technique that can match scarcity. Okay? And then proof. Some people, they lose their brain when they go into the offer. They think just because they say it, people will believe it. So they spend all this time proving themselves in the first few minutes, and then they say, I got this awesome thing. And then they don't provide receipts of why it's awesome. So you want as much proof as you possibly can. In fact, very oftentimes, we create bonuses as a byproduct of proof. We say, what really cool shit do we have proof elements for? Oh my God, well, we have it over here. All these people went nuts when you did this, Jason. Cool, make a product out of that, just so we can show the proof elements. So work backwards, proof before product. This is the magic trick that has been responsible for a majority of my sales. This is really exciting because when we did the launch with Iman, we didn't do any of this stuff because they brought me in 29 days before the launch. And they're like, hey, can you help us? I'm like, yes. And we don't have much time, so we had to triage what we optimized for. So on the next launch we're doing in September, we're going to stack a shitload of proof because, Iman is a co-owner in WAP. Guess what I have access to now? Every piece of data inside WAP that they will let me get my greedy little hands on. So I'm going to find every proof element for every possible thing I can. And I'll spend 50 hours, not me, my team will spend 50 hours, and every claim on every slide that we make will have a receipt attached to it. And this is how we do the biggest launches in the world. We don't just think because we say it, they believe it. So I spend more time on proof for my bonuses than I do on my main product. I overuse proof. If you were on trial for a murder you did not commit and you had 16 witnesses that could get you off, and your lawyer said, well, we'll just call on 2 of them, that should be sufficient. fire that lawyer, right? We bring them all in. And that's what we want for our bonuses, and that's also why we want to handle every single objection that we possibly can when it comes to risk. Now, there's the formal version of risk, which is a guarantee, if you will. And that's okay. Guarantees, blasé, right? They're okay, right? So you can do the unconditional guarantee for any reason or none whatsoever. If you ain't happy, neither am I. Just contact me before 30 days at the URL you see on your screen, and I'll be happy to give you every penny of your purchase back to you promptly and quietly. I only am happy if you're happy with your investment. I don't want your money unless you're happy to give it to me. You could do something like that, right? Unconditional guarantees, they're okay, right? I prefer better than money back guarantees. Just do X, Y, and Z, and if you don't accomplish A, B, and C, then not only will I give you your money back, I will compensate you for your time and effort. I will give you double your money back. I'll give you 5 times your money back. These are what move industries. Now here's the craziest thing involved. People will double their ad spend on Facebook, but they won't risk a fucking penny on their own customers. That blows my mind, right? They'll make Facebook another $1 billion, but they won't say, what if we invested back into our clients and just set aside 10% of the revenue we bring in on guarantees? Guess what happens if you do that? You cut your ad spend in half. You don't need to spend so much more on Facebook because you convert so much better because you remove the risk from your customers and you take on some of that risk. Here's how most of you sell right now, and I get it because you don't know any better. But now that I'm going to show you, you'll know better. And now you will have a spiritual crisis. And you will have to do this, right? You make your customer take on 100% of the risk. You don't risk anything on your customer. You say, give me the money first, and then I will do something for you. If you shifted just a little, not a lot, just a tiny portion of that risk onto you from the customer, what are you now going to say? You can now tell the customer, hey, listen, I'm going to put my neck on the line for you. Now you get to say that. You can't say that before. I could go into markets and say, it's kind of interesting to me how everybody is so confident that they can help you, but they're not confident enough to put their own money on the line. Isn't that interesting? You would think that if their thing was as good as they say it is, that they would guarantee it beyond the product itself. That they could guarantee that if you just follow basic directions, you could get extraordinary results. I don't know why they do it. I got theories. Here's what I do know. We do it. And now you win. Because people are like, yeah, why don't they guarantee this beyond just the investment itself? So better than money back guarantee. Now these are incredibly fucking difficult to create. They're very challenging. Or they were, because I created an AI prompt that does it now, right? Whew. This is really good stuff. You have no idea. No idea, okay? Really good shit. You get that, just because I'm feeling really nice, okay? The real value, though, is in handling the objections. This is my favorite part of every single webinar that we've ever done. Favorite part right here. The real selling starts after somebody tells you no on the webinar. That's when the money gets made. Everybody... Here's 10-80-10 theory, real quickly. It goes like this. 10% of your clients that you get on webinars will buy from you with the least amount of effort possible. It's not you, it's them. You're not that good. They woke up that day and say, man, I really need a solution for X. And then your email comes in. Join the webinar on X, and they're like, God, thank you so much. It wasn't your technique that closed them. 10% will never buy. You say, hey, listen, I'm going to become a monk. This marketing shit's got me stressed out. I'm renouncing material life. I'm going to the Himalayan mountains to retreat in my cave. I don't want this Ferrari anymore. Here, you have it. And they'll say, I bet it's fake. And you're like, no, sit in the passenger side. Pretty cool, right? You I probably wreck it the first time I drive it. Or fuck off, right? They won't buy anyway, under any condition, no matter what you do. It's not a you thing, it's a them thing. Markets are moved in the 80% of people that will go either way. They will say yes, but only under certain specific conditions. And when you're selling in mass, your condition is different than your condition, is different than your condition, is different than your condition. So I get to use all the conditions simultaneously. I get to sell to multiple people all at the same time, but I have to give different reasons for different people to say yes. Now here's the beauty of a webinar. It's the unbelievably majestical, wondrous beauty of a webinar. I can give 5 different reasons for 5 different people, and it's like a tapestry for every single person. They can say, well, that reason's good, and that reason's good, and that reason's good, and that reason's good. So even if I'm selling to each person individually, everybody gets the benefit of all of the sales closes I use. You follow so far? This should get you excited if you like money. Now here's the second reason I love a webinar. If I close you directly, this is confrontational, and this is direct, and that can work, and that's okay, right? But if I'm closing you while I'm talking to you, and you don't realize that I'm really closing you while I'm talking to you, now I also get to sell in an indirect way. People say, Jason, should I do an automated webinar or should I do a live webinar? You know what my answer is? Yes! They say, Jason, should I do a high-ticket webinar or a low-ticket webinar? My answer to that is C. They say, Jason, should I do a direct add to cart or should I book a phone call? And you know what my answer to that is? I don't know any other languages to say yes in. But the answer is 10-4, roger that, good buddy. Of course. It's not an either-or thing. So we sell directly, we sell indirectly. We sell moving towards, we sell moving away from. We sell with stories and metaphors. We sell with logic, we sell with emotion. We sell to the people that need it. Because right now they're selling themselves on staying small, which isn't serving them. So here's the cool thing. This happened in April. I still haven't fully unpacked it yet. Some of the shit that I learned here has changed my life. I would like to share it with you. I've never shared this in front of a live audience before. Is this okay? Okay? So I get this call. I'm in fucking France. Long story. We're living in La Roquette, which is part of Cannes, earlier this year. And I get this call one day from Iman. And Iman says, hey, listen, we're doing this launch. You've been referred. Would you like to help us? I said, I do consulting. It's $3,500 an hour. And if you need me to pitch live, which I very rarely do, it's $10,000 an hour, which is what I charge, right? And he says, cool. I'll just give you $150,000 up front, and then we'll figure out the rest later. I go, I also need an airline ticket and a hotel. Done, right? So he says, you come in and you close for me. 5-day event. He says, we're going to open up the cart on day 4. And I say, I don't recommend that, Iman, for your offer. I recommend we open it up on day 2. And to his credit, he says yes. Now, I've worked with some of the biggest dicks in the industry, like literally and metaphorically, right? Big dick like this, big dick like you're an asshole, right? I've worked with all of them, right? None of them fucking listen to me, not really. They pay me a large amount of money and they listen to about 5% of what I say. The good news is 5% is enough to justify my fees, right? But Iman just says, okay. I think because he's younger, he's 25 years old, and he makes more money than all of us, right? He says, okay. So we move it up to day 2. The reason I move it up to day 2 is so we can close more often earlier. We want to sell right away. Now here's what gets crazy about this shit, and don't tell anybody I said this, okay? This stays between us and this ultra-exclusive quiet with no cameras, recording, all that shit right now. But I'm seriously, like this is quiet stuff, right? The first day of the promotion, I didn't get a chance to really dial in their script for them. And I knew it had flaws, and I knew it had problems. And we're going live on YouTube. We're on YouTube Live. Worst place to sell, right? Crack House, YouTube Live. About neck and neck. 2 worst places to sell. It is a crack house. So we're streaming this on YouTube Live. 59,000 people. 59,000 people are live. YouTube Live. Everything is live in the chat. Everybody can see everybody. There's these memes these kids do. They put L in the chat when something happens. Somebody doesn't like it, they put an L in. The next kid puts an L in. Pretty soon, all you're seeing is L's in the fucking chat, right? This is not an environment that most people would want to sell in. First day Iman goes very long, too long. 600 slides we had initially for day 1. I cut 200 out. We're at 400 slides, still too long, right? I don't know if any of you ever done a Russian banyan before. I think that's what it's called, banya. I don't recommend it if you're 42 years old. I almost died. This is where we're editing and cutting slides the day before. All these 20-something kids are looking at me like, Dad, get the fuck out of here, right? So we're 9 o'clock is when we go live in Dubai, 9 p.m., shittiest fucking time to sell on YouTube Live, 59,000 people, hostile. Get to the point, Iman, get to the point, blah, blah, blah. I step in, hour and 10 minutes in, dealing with this unruly mob, 59,000 kids, essentially. Most of them were kids. And I reframe them immediately. Now, keep in mind, I can't sell until day 2, but I always sell. I'm Jason Fladlin, right? So I say to the audience this. I have to say, you know what's really interesting? Once upon a time, there was an experiment done. It was called the marshmallow experiment by Stanford. And here's what they discovered. They put a kid in front of a marshmallow, and if they said, wait 15 minutes and don't eat this, and I'll give you 2 marshmallows. And then they measured these kids, and they discovered the kids that ate the marshmallow right away, instead of waiting just a short period of time, they tracked them later on in life, they didn't do too good. And then they looked at the kids who, when the marshmallow was in front of them, they waited for just 15 minutes, and then they got 2 marshmallows. They tracked them later in life, and they discovered they did much better. And then here's what they also discovered, because they questioned, could it be learned? Could you take a kid that eats the marshmallow right away, train him so he can wait just a little bit of time, and then he gets 2? Turns out they could, and once they did, they tracked him later in life. He was just as successful as those kids that could delay gratification for a little bit. And I get it. But let me ask you this question. If you watched just the last 5 minutes of your favorite movie, would it still be your favorite movie? Now, I understand the desire and the need to want to know the answers right away, to get it all right away without putting anything into it. But I gotta ask you a question. How do you think that's going to serve you in life? And instantly, W's in the chat. The Holy Grail. I reframed 59,000 people just like that in 2 minutes. And then they say, Kimosabi, please show me the way. And I say, I'd be glad to. And this is day 1 before we could sell. Now, we were running this experiment. We did not know this. When Imam publishes videos, because he has 5 million subscribers on YouTube, that algorithm gets pushed. We didn't know if a 4.5-hour video that was lightly edited from a live stream would suppress distribution. We didn't know. So we cut out my closes every day. Day 1, we cut them out. Day 2, we cut them out. Day 3, day 4, day 5. We got a different sort of mob. Kids were pissed. Where's Fladlin at? I want to see Fladlin. Why can't I watch Jason? All I'm doing is hardcore selling the shit out of everybody. And they're mad that they can't be part of the process. Because what I learned, and this was the perfected moment of that, is if you sell the way that I sell, it is the highest level of value you can provide to your audience. And you get to sell them as hard as you possibly want. Yep. So we actually documented all of these. And my team and I went through and we looked at every single close that I used over 5 days. And here it is right now. I'm building a bot. You don't get that shit for free, right? But this is what I now do, and this is what I do for clients. And they show up and they say, Jason, how do you do this? All of these were freestyle because I have this competency about me of handling objections. I'll give you an example of one of them. But more important is the words, is the attitude. So this is on day 1. What you put into this business now, it gives you an outsized return. This is one of the few businesses which is the more people that can take advantage of you, the more advantages you get. Here's what I mean by this. If it takes you all day to come up with a solution that someone can get a win from in 10 minutes, and they only have to pay you $10 for it, who got the better end of the deal? They did. And then if 1 million people get the better end of the deal from you, what do we call you? The ultimate success in life. So we build businesses where everyone can take advantage of us, and we get the ultimate advantage. And I don't even remember having done that close. I don't know that close. It just channeled. I look at the audience, I listen to them and say, what do they now need to hear? And we do it straight up on the call. So what we're doing here, in this case, reframing an act of selling into helping as many people as possible get what they want. I had a close on there. I don't have much time, but I had a close on there. Never had this close in my life. I had it a lot, this objection. How do I convince my parents to buy this for me? Because the average person on this call was 22 years old. And so I closed it in multiple ways. This is the setup, by the way. I said, well, there's 3 ways you could go about doing this. And one of these is a little bit aggressive. And one of these I'm not really serious about. And then one of these I would recommend for you. But let me just give you all 3 as an example. And then I could give them the hardest one possible and be like, no, don't do that. Wink, but actually maybe do that, right? And then I gave them the other one. I gave them the one where it says, Mom, Dad, I know what you want from me in life is to insert things that they desire of their child here. And I know what would make you really happy is if I showed proactivity into going out and looking for things that would help me grow and give me responsibility as a young woman and something that I can invest in to find my calling and my passion. Tell me if I'm wrong. Isn't this what you're raising me to become? You like this, don't you? This is good stuff, isn't it, right? Now, we call it the manipulative close. That's the one I don't recommend they use. But they could use it if they wanted to, right? I also gave them the discipline, the disappointment close. I say sometimes your parents can love you and not understand what you want. And you have to be okay with them telling you no. You have to be okay with them not getting you, and you still have to love them for you. But here's how you find out. You ask them. Would you agree with me? It's better to find out than to go your whole life not knowing. I say, I want to find out. Let me give you the words to tell them. Would you be okay with that? Yes, I would. Here's the words. And I'm selling parents now. I'm closing on them, right? And we set the 30-day sales record in WAP in 48 hours and 17 minutes. Shit was crazy. It was insane. And it all comes from this framework that I've perfected over the last 18 years of my life. And now you have it, including all the prompts, including some extra special goodness for you, given to you for the first time ever. Just request access when we get a chance. Well, we'll open it up for you. Here's all I ask in return. Give me the testimonial. I've ran into 3 people since I've been here this morning. Jason, I did this, and you taught me this, and I made this money, and I didn't know any one of them. And I made them 6, 7 figures or more. I fucking hate that. Because this shit is too hard for me. I'm getting old. Like, the money isn't enough of a motivator for me anymore. I need the results. This validates that what I'm doing is worthwhile. So all I ask is you use this, you write me, you tell me how it impacted you, and then I can keep going. Fair? It's been an honor to serve you today. My name is Jason Fladlin. If you need me, I'll be around. Woo!
Dude.